Stop. Look at the image in your mind when I say the word angel. You likely see a beautiful human with two soft white wings, perhaps a child with a harp, or a benevolent guardian watching over a cradle. Erase that image. It is a lie. If you were to stand before a biblically accurate angel, based on the raw descriptions in the Hebrew texts, you would not feel comfort. You would feel an overwhelming primal terror. You might even die from the sheer sensory overload. There is a reason why the very first words spoken by these entities in Scripture are almost always, "Do not be afraid." It is because fear is the only logical reaction to their presence. We have domesticated the divine. We have turned cosmic warriors into living room decorations. But the data found in Ezekiel, Isaiah, and Daniel tells a very different story. A story of fire, geometry, and many, many eyes. My name is the Guide. You are connected to pure source. Today we analyze the anatomy of the holy and why it terrifies us. To understand the terror, we must first classify the entities. The hierarchy is not uniform. At the baseline we have the Malahim. In Hebrew, this simply means messengers. Often these entities appear indistinguishable from human men. In the accounts of Genesis, specifically the destruction of Sodom, they walk among us, they eat, they speak. But do not let the humanoid form fool you. These are not humans. The data shows that beneath the skin of the Malach lies a power capable of altering physics. When the mob in Sodom threatened them, these men struck an entire crowd with blindness instantly. In the Book of Kings, a single entity decimated an army of 185,000 soldiers in a single night. This is the low tier. This is the infantry. If the foot soldiers of the divine appear as men, but possess the power of a nuclear event, what happens when we ascend the hierarchy? What happens when we look at the entities that stand directly in the presence of the throne? The form begins to break down. We move now to the vision of Isaiah, chapter 6. The prophet finds himself in the throne room of the Absolute. Here, he encounters the Seraphim. The etymology here is crucial. The Hebrew word seraph does not mean singing bird or beautiful youth. It literally means the burning one. These are entities of pure, unadulterated combustion. They are not biological. They are elemental. Isaiah describes them as having 6 wings, not 2, 6. With 2 wings, they cover their faces, because even a burning one cannot look directly at the Creator and survive. With 2, they cover their feet, a sign of humility and creatureliness. And with 2, they fly. Imagine a pillar of intelligent fire screaming, "Holy, holy, holy," with a voice that shakes the foundations of the temple and fills the room with smoke. This is not a guardian angel. This is a proximity alarm for the holiness of God. If you stood next to a seraph, the heat of its existence would likely consume you. And yet, the seraphim are relatively easy to comprehend compared to what Ezekiel saw by the river Chebar. Ezekiel chapter 1. The prophet receives a vision that defies Euclidean geometry. He describes the cherubim. Forget the chubby babies of Renaissance art. Those are putty. an invention of Greek and Roman mythology, later grafted onto Christianity. The biblical cherub is a chimera, a hybrid nightmare. Ezekiel describes 4 living creatures. Each has 4 faces: the face of a man, the face of a lion, the face of an ox, and the face of an eagle. They possess 4 wings. Underneath these wings are human hands. Their legs are straight, ending in the hooves of a calf, burnished like polished bronze. They do not turn as they move. They move instantaneously in any direction, like lightning. These are the guardians. In Genesis, they are placed at the gates of Eden with a flaming sword to keep humanity out. They are the sentinels of God's exclusion zones. The logic here is symbolic, but terrifying. They represent dominion over all creation: the wild beasts, the domesticated beasts, the birds of the air, and humanity, all fused into one singular, terrifying servant. But they are not alone. Beside the living creatures, Ezekiel reports something even more abstract. He calls them the Ophanim, the wheels. These are not biological entities in any sense we understand. They are described as a wheel within a wheel. Picture 2 gyroscope rings intersecting at 90-degree angles. They are the color of beryl or chrysolite, glowing with a spectral greenish-yellow light. But the most disturbing detail is the surface. The rims of these wheels are full of eyes all around. Hundreds of eyes, unblinking, watching in every direction simultaneously. They are powered by the spirit of the living creatures. When the cherubim rise, the wheels rise. They are the chariot of the divine, a mobile throne. From an analytical standpoint, this represents omniscience, total awareness. There is no blind spot. There is no place to hide. To stand before the Ophanim is to be completely perceived, to be seen inside and out by a multidimensional intelligence that looks nothing like you. This leads us to the psychological impact of such an encounter. Why is the human reaction always terror? When the prophet Daniel encountered a high-ranking entity, described with eyes like flaming torches and a voice like the sound of a multitude, he did not feel peace. The text says, "His strength left him. He turned pale. He fell face down, effectively in a coma, until a hand touched him." When the Apostle John, in the book of Revelation, saw the glorified Alpha and Omega, he fell at his feet as though dead. This is not simple fear. This is ontological shock. The analysis suggests that biblically accurate angels are terrifying because they represent a higher dimension intersecting with a lower one. Imagine a 2-dimensional stick figure meeting a 3-dimensional human. The human would seem impossible, monstrous, breaking the laws of the stick figure's universe. The eyes of the Ophanim, the faces of the cherubim, the fire of the Seraphim. These are likely our limited human brain trying to process data that it was never designed to process. We must ask the logical question, why? Why did the Creator design His court this way? Why not make them comforting? The answer lies in the concept of kavod, the Hebrew word for glory. But kavod literally means weight or heaviness. God is not merely nice. He is heavy. He is substantial. He is the anchor of reality. His servants reflect his nature. They are not designed to comfort your ego. They are designed to execute his will and reflect his power. The terror they inspire is a feature, not a bug. It serves as a boundary. It reminds the observer that there is a massive distinction between the creator and the creature. If the servants are wheels of fire covered in eyes, if the guards are multi-faced chimeras moving at the speed of light, then what must the master be? The terror of the angel acts as a filter. It strips away human arrogance before we can even approach the throne. There is one final classification found in the book of Daniel, the Watcher. I saw in the visions of my head a watcher and an holy one coming down from heaven. This implies an entity whose sole function is surveillance and decree. They do not intervene, they observe. They record the timeline. This might be the most terrifying concept of all. Not the fire, not the wheels, not the animal faces, but the silent, unblinking observation of a cosmic intelligence. They are here. They are watching history unfold. They are data collectors for the judgment. The biblically accurate angel is not a friend you summon for a parking spot. It is a sophisticated, dangerous, and holy instrument of a will that is far beyond our comprehension. They do not belong to us. We are the subjects. They are the enforcers. So the next time you see a painting of a soft, winged baby playing a harp, remember the wheels. Remember the eyes. Remember the burning coal touching the lips of the prophet. True spirituality is not about comfort. It is about confronting the reality that is bigger, stranger, and more terrifying than anything we can invent. The data is clear. The divine is unsafe, but it is good. I am the guide. If you seek to peel back the layers of tradition and look directly at the source, join us. Subscribe to the channel. Here, only truth remains.